now we can get to the fun part of the stream and get to ranking. Oops, that's still here. And get to ranking some stages. I'm going. I might rename some of the. I might rename some of the stages or some of the tiers later on. Okay, let's start with peak. Let's start. I have, as you can see, I have all of the like I have Sonic stages in order. There's this stage in order and everything. Also, Sand Hill is part of the tier list for some reason. I'm just going to ignore that one. I'm just going to be ranking the main action stages. Oh wait, I'm edit stream info. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm going to be ranking just the main action stages. No sub games, no bosses. Just the main stages, of which there are 32 of. And I'll be I'll be taking first time play into consideration. I'll be taking replayability into consideration, like how much fun it is to play the stage over and over. I'll be taking getting the B and the A ranks into consideration. I will also take like the aesthetics, the music into consideration. It's like I will pretty much think of every aspect of a stage when ranking them. So let's start with peak. Okay, first in peak is Sonic's Twinkle Park, which I've been very vocal about how much I like this stage. First of all, I thought, like for a while, I didn't like Twinkle Park as much because of the kart section at the beginning, the forced kart section that's like a minute long, but it grew on me. I'm a fan of it now. And I don't mind going through the entire kart section every time I'm replaying the stage. And so yeah, so the kart section is cool and fun, it has a good song. And then, the second half of the stage, like the amusement park part of the stage. First off, the coolest setting and the coolest design of any stage in the game, by far. Actually not by far because Lost World is close, but we'll get to Lost World in due time. But oh my god, it's so good. Like the vibes, the aesthetics, the design, it's all mwah. And then the gameplay. The gameplay, it's so fun. You go around the outer circle first, start going in. It's so fun. And on top of all of that, it's one of the sickest stages to just like casually speedrun. Whenever I talk about speedrunning a stage, I mean casually because I can't do anything else. But it's also one of the most fun stages to just like blast through and like skip. You skip a lot of the second section, but that's somehow like it's peak stage. It's very fun when you skip past most of the stage, and it's extremely fun when you actually properly play through the stage as well. It also has like a lot, like some branching paths that the second half, of course, there's no branching paths in the kart segment, but the second half there's like some like branching paths and multiple ways that you can do just like a small obstacle, which is, I think, an essential part of Sonic level design, but it's just perfect no notes all around. Peak. This stage is perfection. Now joining this stage is another Sonic stage in the form of Red Mountain, and I will have this ordered, so I will have like from left to right will be best to worst. Now, do I put Twinkle Park above or below Red Mountain? Let's talk about them first, and then I will decide. But yeah, this stage is it's also one of the first half of the stage, like the exterior section, one of the best songs in the game. Just like Twinkle Park's second section, one of the best songs in the game. Extremely fun to play through normally. Extremely fun to blast through using like different skips and stuff. And you can the flow state, like the flow of a stage, is one of the most important things in Sonic, and it's brilliant, it's amazing, it's perfect. Like there are no parts where it interrupts your flow. You have to do like unfun precision platforming. I specifically add unfun because I do think if pulled off well, then precision platforming can work with Sonic. This is one of my issues with Sonic Generations. This is an tangential related to adventure. I just sort of get this off my chest. This is one of my problems with Sonic Generations, is that Generations controls are awful. Like they are one of the worst controls and physics possible for precision platforming. But there are parts of the game, especially in 3D, that force you to do precision platforming in a game that feels like tailored intentionally against precision platforming. However, in this game, Red Mountain doesn't have any precision platforming, but there are some stages that do, and in Adventure, because it is a well-built game, as much as polish as it lacks, it works well. But back to Red Mountain. Oh my god, where do I put it higher or lower than Twinkle Park? This is a hard one. Okay, also I didn't even talk about the interior section. Interior section, not as good as the exterior section. Is still very well made, still very fun to play through. But that slide dropping quality, they make it up with the coolness factor of it all. You're inside of the volcano. The rising lava section is actually fun, because it's like usual lava rising sections where it's rising and you have to outpace it. But it always rises in specific spots, and it makes platforming possibilities that weren't there before with some of the platforms that like float on top of the lava. And it's just beautiful. And then you finish off by escaping the inside as well. Like the very end goal, the capsule is in the outside after you use a rocket to fly out. Here's the thing, I slightly prefer Red Mountain to Twinkle Park for gameplay. Just slightly. Very slightly. But I slightly prefer Twinkle Park for the vibes and aesthetics. And for the songs, because both have one peak song, but the other one for Red Mountain is good, while the other one for Twinkle Park is better than that. Like, I genuinely don't know. I will mull on that, I will get back to this later. And I will scroll down to other stages. You know what, let's rip the band-aid off. We're just putting big in Mayo tier. Here's the thing. Big stages would be fine. Like, some of them involve exploration that's fun, with an asterisk, with like a footnote. But I'm including B and A ranking, or like B and A missions, in the ranking of these stages. And holy fucking shit, is it obnoxious, tedious, horrible to try catching the 2 kilogram fishes in big stages. It's so bad. Which is why, like, these stages are just on the bottom tier. Like, they get a tier on their own, of their own. And now the question is, how do I... All of them are shit. The problem with them is the fishing mechanic by itself, not the actual stages. So I'm going to have to like order these 4 stages based on the good things inside of them, which Twinkle Park is just less. It's literally one pool and that's it, like nothing else. It's just a pool. Like there's nothing in this stage. So Twinkle Park, Big Twinkle Park is just first stage. Now the other ones, these are exploration-wise all kinda cool. Ice Cap is going to be second worst, just because Big is not made for platforming. But they make you do a little platforming in this stage, and this is the least fun to explore, and sometimes annoying to get to point A to point B. Get from point A to point B. Especially if you don't break the ice preemptively in like the spawn area. So Ice Cap is the other... Okay, here's the thing. It has... So all of the issues with big stages are normally just from being issues from Big itself, or like Big himself. Twinkle Park is just a shitest nothing stage. Ice Cap has good things about it, but it also has issues that Twinkle Park doesn't. So the question is, do the good things balance out the bad things enough to put it above Twinkle Park? I say yes. And I am going to put Hot Shelter above Emerald Coast. I love Big Emerald Coast. He gets a separate soundtrack or a separate song for this stage, and not the one that would play for anyone else in this portion of the stage. And also, it has the coolest hidden cave inside that adds a lot of charm to it. However, Hot Shelter is just... You can swim up to a secret spot. You can just like unplug a huge biggest plug and like flood the place and go up to another secret spot. And then I don't even know how, but you can supposedly break the glass to open up, like get to fish some unique fish that aren't encountered in any of the other stages. Like these 3 stages have the same kinds of fish in them. And this has like, there's like unique fish that's just for Hot Shelter, nothing else. So I don't think Big Hot Shelter and Big Emerald Coast are cool stages, but fishing is still awful in this game, and so they just stay Mayo tier. If fishing was good, if the fishing mechanics are actually good, if Big was fun to play with in this game, then this is what the stages would look like. I think. This is what the stages would look like if they were not Big the Cat, or if Big the Cat worked well. Actually, I'm going to add another tier. Hold on. I'm going to name this Works Well. And I'm going to name this tier Poggers. So this is what big stages would look like this, actually. I think this is what I would rate them. But it's big, so big gets banished to the Mayo tier. I love adding 9 tiers to a 32 entry tier list. Okay, there's one more level in Peak. There's one more level I'm going to put in Peak. Actually, no, this might be... I might change my mind, but these two might be the only Peak levels. Okay, I'm gonna think about... Actually, this is the question. If I had to choose if I had to open up Sonic Adventure and select just one stage to play through, would I pick Twinkle Park more often, or would I pick Red Mountain more often? I feel like... I still don't know how to answer that question. I feel like there would be like a perfectly even split. Like I feel like I would pick Twinkle Park 5 times out of them and Red Mountain 5 times out of them. Okay. Speaking of stages that are... No, I will move Casino Police, Knuckles Casino Police into Peak. It's just so nice. Like this stage, actually, I know I said like Twinkle Park and Lost World has the best vibes, but no. Knuckles Casinopolis. Knuckles Casinopolis is absolutely the fucking vibe king. Knuckles Casinopolis is the vibe king of this game. I will not accept any other opinion on this. It's also Knuckles stage, which means it's fun because Knuckles stages are fun and fucking fight me on this. But I think vibes are so important and it's fun. Like there's you can go up the pirate ships, you can go up the top right the rafters, you can. There's like a hidden mechanical place that you can go to, and there's a very cool hidden one-up in there that feels like you shouldn't. Like it feels not intended to be able to climb up there, but you can and they reward you for it. It's just. Also, it's great for exploration. So Knuckles' stages should be about exploration. Like they should mainly be about exploration. This is a bit of a unique stage in that most Knuckles stages are about exploration, exploring like the nooks and crannies, going all over the stage. This stage is exploration in the sense that you go around and experience the stage, and less so you go around and discover the stage. Which I do think is a very fun spin on Knuckles stages, and it deserves to be called the third best stage in the game. Because it is. One stage that I was considering putting in peak, but I think it just... Do I know Knuckles Red Mountain is peak? Speaking of Knuckles stages that should be about exploration, Red Mountain is like the iconic Knuckles stage in the game. It's like the Pumpkin Hill of Sonic Adventure 1. Or rather, Pumpkin Hill is the Red Mountain of Sonic Adventure 2. But, oh my... Exploring this stage is so fun. All the emerald spots are fun. So sometimes they aren't too easy to find. But you can still like rely on just your radar without using hints. It's also the first stage where you have to dig. Sometimes don't have to dig. And I think that it's fun. It's just fun vibes to like dig up treasure with Knuckles. And my gosh, once again, Red Mountain song slaps. One of the like top 5 Sonic Adventure song, easily. Is it? Yeah, it is top 5 Sonic Adventure song. Yeah. And it's just peak. But now we're done with peak stages. Let's move on to some that are, you know what, Emerald Coast, arguably the most iconic stage in the entire game. Okay, so I feel like I know that the DS version of Generations has Emerald Coast as its Sonic Adventure stage, because if you don't know, DS Generations and then Home Console Generations, they are like 2 different games. Pretty much. Only the story and the cutscenes are the same. And they have different stages for every game. And DS Generations has Emerald Coast. And I feel like Seaside Hill is also very iconic. But I feel like they could have chosen a different stage for like they could have kept Speed Highway for Head-to-Head Generations and do Emerald Coast for I feel like Emerald Coast is slightly more iconic than Seaside Hill. And there are a lot, like fucking Frog Forest or like Mystic Mansion would have went so hard in Generations. And that's just like, it's not a great because I still think the current stage selection with Generations is very good. But I feel like it would just be slightly better if the beach stage in Generations was Ubengai. If the Generation stage or like if the beach stage in Generations was Emerald Coast, I would just prefer that a little. But you know, like just a little. Okay, but yeah, this is an amazing level. I wouldn't. Okay, so if it's an amazing level, it's still like I would most if not all levels I put in this tier, I would still consider like great, amazing with no really, like really not any flaws. Like these are still flawless levels. They are just not at peak quite yet. But this is, Emerald Coast is kinda like the peak gatekeeper, I would say. However, Sonic has some stinker. I'm going to go somewhat in order, but I will go out of order sometimes. Sonic, let's speak about Sonic's stinker levels. Let's talk about stinky levels, starting with Casinopolis. Love the vibes. Not as big of a vibe king as also another reason that Knuckles Casinopolis is so good. You get to explore all the upper areas that Sonic cannot get to. And those are all the fun parts of Casinopolis. Like, Sonic gets to play all the shitty parts of Casinopolis, and then Knuckles gets to play all the good parts of Casinopolis. But stinky stage, why is this stinky? Gimmick. I love the idea, I love the concept, I still like the vibes of this stage. You have to collect 400 rings to like go into the vault. I do think it's silly that you have to deposit your rings into the vault to get the emerald, Chaos Emerald. But it's like a fun gimmick, it's a cool gimmick. I don't mind having to gather rings. But it's just so fucking slow. You're either stuck on pinball hell for like 2-3 minutes at least. Which would be fine, like I'm a pinball fiend, I fucking love pinballs. It's like one of my favorite forms of entertainment ever. So we thought of things, like if there's something that's like both in real life, but there are like video game versions of it, I usually only like either the IRL or the video game version of it. I really like both. Pinball is one of the few things that I like both in digital and in physical form. Like, pinballs are straight up just one of my favorite forms of entertainment ever. But the pinballs in this game control like absolute horseshit. And if you know Sonic Adventure, I'm not telling anything new to you. Like, the pinball controls and the pinball physics are awful, horrible, and make what would otherwise be a really fun minigame kind of stinky poopy. And then another cool part, okay, there's the slot. There are two pinballs, so I'm gonna gentle this a bit more. There's two pinballs. There's that Sonic themed one, the slot machine one, and that's cool. I love that one. Actually I have like a slight issue, so the controls are bad. But there are also like two tubes that you can go in, and you can just gamble on. Actually no, that's not a big issue. I don't have any issues with that pinball. It's just that the pinball controls in general are shit. But there's a Nights into Dreams themed pinball, and instead of slots, it's themed on another edge. It's based around another classic casino game in poker. There are like cards scattered across the stage, and once you collect 5 cards, you get a ring payout based on what kind of poker hand those 5 cards give you, which is so fucking cool. Like, that's actually... I love that idea. However, the actual pinball board is so fucking empty and bland. It has barely anything in it besides the like cards. So it actually ends up being slow and boring. Instead of, like, the concept is so hype and they just completely fumbled it. And then, once you gain, if you fail a pinball, like if you lose your last ball on a pinball, with less than 100 rings in your pocket, you get thrown into the sewers, which is like a very cool additional detail. So it's made so, it's nice because if you're bad at the like adventure pinball minigame, it gives you a chance to still collect rings, because there's like around 300 rings you can get in a run. Even more if you have patience. Like, you could theoretically collect your 400 rings just from the sewers. However, the actual gameplay is the sewers. It's like, I almost said it's like watching a cutscene, but it's worse than watching a cutscene, because Sonic Adventure cutscenes are silly and funny, playing through the sewers is just boring, like you do nothing. You go through you do like one light dash. You have to stand on a fan and wait and do nothing else other than wait. You run through a tunnel without doing anything. You sometimes jump to get a capsule. You stand on a fan and wait. You run through a tunnel and then you're out. But it's like a 90-second long segment. It's so fucking boring. And this is one of the stages. I do think on a first time playthrough, when you play this stage for the first time, it's very cool. As a first time stage, as a one time stage, it's cool and awesome and amazing. It would be fine if you didn't have to revisit it. But you do have to revisit it. And this stage has zero replayability. So it goes in the stinky tier. It's one of, if not the worst stages for Sonic. Another stinker, it's not as bad as Casinopolis, but Ice Cap. And this is possibly my most controversial take across all of Sonic Adventure. But first part of the stage, cool, could be a bit longer. I wish the first portion of the stage was longer, because it is very cool. I think first portion is the best part of the stage. You have a little exterior section, you have like go into an alcove and then go out to grab the rocket and progress. It's also like foreshadowing, because you read the first part of the exterior part of the stage is the same part that you will snowboard through later, which I do think is very cool, and that increases my opinion on this stage just a bit, but just a bit. It does not get to escape Stinky Jail. But then we get to the second section of the stage. That's the fully interior section. That has great vibes. Has good ideas. But jumping on the ice caps is boring. You can skip them, but it's not intended. And it's just slow, and also the loop at the end is very janky in a not fun way, because sometimes you get launched off and you have to do the climb again. The only good part about the second section of the stage, the literal only good part, is that you can skip almost the entire thing. Like that's straight up it. That's the good part. This is balanced out, but you can also skip the entirety of the first section. That's actually fun. Even if you don't skip it, it's like a 20-second long section anyways. But yeah, and then we get to the snowboarding section, which has another one of the best songs in the game. One of the most iconic songs of the game. And the snowboarding down the snowy mountain is really fun on the first playthrough. This is another one of those stages that has literally zero replayability. And replayability is, as I said earlier, one of, if not, maybe not, but one of the most important aspects of Sonic level design and Sonic gameplay is having stages that are replayable and fun to try to get a good score on, to get a good time on, to improve on. Like, that's one of the biggest charms of Sonic games, its replayability. Ice Cap has none of that. Here's the worst part about this. In the minigame section of trial mode, you can access an Ice Cap subgame that's just the snowboarding. But the subgame has gates, and it has a challenge to keep up a chain of going through gates and increase your score. And just including the gates would have made the snowboarding section so much more fun and less of, it's still a glorified auto-scroller, but at least I wouldn't call it that as in a derogatory way. But as it stands, Ice Cap is stinky. I'm not sure yet. Ice Cap is either the bottom of one point or the top of stinky. I think I'm gonna keep it stinky. There's one last stage that's going to enter stinky, and that is Lost World. Fuck this stage. I hate this stage for multiple reasons. Yeah, now I think about it, I do hate this stage more than Casinopolis actually. I do think this is the worst non-big stage in the game. Maybe not, but I do think this is the worst Sonic stage in the game. It has the third best vibes and aesthetics after Sonic Sonic Twinkle Park. And Knuckles Casino Park, this is the third best vibes of any stage. And here's my issue. This stage has so much potential, it has so many cool ideas. But the actual gameplay, the actual execution of the stage is horrible. It's either boring or it's just straight up unfun. Like, I don't think there's any part of the stage that I would call just generally fun to play. Let's run it through it. First section. You enter like... Okay, the first room is cool. Like, the vibes are cool. You just walk through, but it's fun. It's like the introduction to the stage. Then you go through a tunnel with no gameplay for like 5 to 10 seconds. Which is awesome. It's like glorified waiting. It's like waiting, but instead you push the analog stick forward. Then you enter a tunnel that is like a rotating tunnel with sometimes protruding like flaming columns. Great idea. Kind of a slog to play through in practice because a lot of time they just come out and it's unreactable. It punishes you for going fast, but it also punishes you for going slow because if you go slow then the rotating tunnel is just annoying. Then you enter the snake room. Once again, great idea, meant to be somewhat of a puzzle, just ends up being completely killing the flow state of the stage, completely killing any momentum you had, and just 40 seconds wasted of your life. Then, you enter the second section of the stage that has, in my opinion, one of the first songs in the game. Not because it's bad, but because it doesn't suit like half of the stage. Like, you go through the dark room. Dark room's fine. Dark room's kinda unfun because there's no incentive to... You can still see you, there's no incentive to light up the room. And if you pair like... Even if you just like fart on the fucking light devices, you just snap onto them and you can't even quit. You have to... It once again kills the flow and your momentum. Completely. Unfun. The camera, if you go fast, which game wants you to go fast, but if you go fast, the camera completely fucks you up. Which is, in general, one of the biggest issues with Sonic Adventure is the camera work, but it's especially bad in the Dark Room of Lost World. And then you enter the Rolling Stone section that sometimes just kills you unprompted when it shouldn't. And the last portion of the stage is cool, but also a bit too slow to my tastes. Like the one where you have to change the plates on the walls and then you can walk on them and everything. It's fun, but yeah, it's just a bit too slow. I do think, if done well, Sonic stages can pull off puzzle elements, but that's just not it. Yeah, those are the 3 stinky stages for Sonic. Let's move on to some stages that don't have like any issues with them. Like, they don't have a flaw. They just don't have any, like, they just lack gameplay. They are just stages without gameplay. The biggest offender of that is Amy's final egg. Now, if I was just looking at Amy's final egg, ignore the context of where it shows up in the game, and I was just rating it based on what I rated everything else in, it would go into Womp Womp tier. So here's the thing. This stage's gameplay is hold forward with barely any input, sometimes jumping. Wait for the elevator. Hold forward again. Play pick a dick. And then you reach the end of the stage. Like, there's zero actual gameplay in Amy Final Egg. It doesn't have any issues, but there's no gameplay. It's not unfun to play through, it's just boring to play through. Which would warrant a Womp placement for it. However, this is Amy's final stage. This is the capstone stage, the capstone level for Amy. So it's supposed to be like a nice send-off. But this is nothing, like there's no substance in this stage. And the stage you play before this is Hot Shelter, which would stand on its own even as a final stage. So with the context in mind, with this being Amy's final stage, with 10 doing Amy dirty so bad, I am going to move this down to Stinky. Even below Sonic's Ice Cap. Because what the fuck do you mean? Amy is such a great character and they gave her this shitty stage as a send-off. Before Zero boss fight is kinda cool, but it can be cheesed. But yeah, no, I'm so fucking mad at this stage. So this can also go Stinky mode. Another one that's just like doesn't have any glaring issues with it, but is just boring to play through, is Tails Ice Cap. It's just Sonic Ice Cap, but only the snowboarding section. And like I said with Sonic's Ice Cap, they have a sub-game for Ice Cap, where it has gates and it has an incentive to try to get a higher score, and that makes it like that. If it had the gates in the main stage and you didn't have to go into like the trial sub-menu for it, that considered a separate stage and not actual Ice Cap, it would move up from Womp to like fucking Poggers. But as it stands, zero replayability once again. It's a glorified auto-scroller. And also I did not talk about this in Sonic's Ice Cap, but the snowboard controls are kinda shit. They are kinda very bad. Especially with the way it sometimes kills your momentum because you vent bust like a fucking molehill. So as it stands, Tails is going to be Womp. Just because it has no replayability. Same thing. Tails is Cassiopolis. Fair? First Tails is Cassiopolis. This is Skydeck. This is Speed Highway. Oh, I messed up the stage order here. There we go. This is Tails Cassiopolis. This is Cassiopolis, is Sonic's Cassiopolis, but just the sewer section, nothing else. So it still has zero replayability, but it's also not fun to play through the first time. So I'm going to put this lower than Sonic's Cassiopolis, but lower than Sonic's Lost World. But it's also just a stage that like barely has any gameplay and has zero replayability. And there are stages that are like very straightforward, extremely linear, but still pull off, like they pull off what they do, or what they should do. And those stages are, for one, I'm going to put them in the worst category. Gamma's Final Egg and Gamma's Emerald Coast. They are very simple stages. Like Gamma's Final Egg is like a 30-second stage, if even that. And Emerald Coast is like also less than a minute long. But it works well for what it's supposed to do. For one, they are like at the start of Gamma's story. And like you're just supposed to, like you're Eggman's robot, you're made by Eggman, you're just made to carry out his orders, and you're just doing pretty much, like this is just a training human, and here you're just doing sort of chores and tests for Eggman. But what's different is that Gamma's core gameplay mechanic is you just aim your cannon at everything and you just blast shit to shreds. And that's a fun thing to do. It's satisfying to do. And you can still do that in these stages. Like they are straightforward. There is no challenge to either of these stages. But you can still shoot some shit. You can still have your timer go up. You can see satisfying big number in top right. You can hear satisfying time increasing sound. So they work well. They pull off what they need to pull off and they don't do anything more. So yeah, Emerald Coast is a like I don't mind. If I had to choose to replay Gamma stages, I wouldn't choose to replay these stages by myself. But if I do have to replay these stages, I don't mind at all because they're still fun to play through, even if a bit bland. So they work well. But so that's the difference between like these two Gamma stages and like let's say Tails, Ice Cap or Casinopolis. They pull off what they need to, they don't do anything more, but they pull off what they need to well. And they still keep the core gameplay mechanic of Gamma that makes playing as Gamma fun. But all the other Gamma stages are... Windy Valley. Windy Valley is a Pogar stage. Windy Valley is great. Okay, so let's talk about the tiers a little bit. Just so you know what each... Peak is peak. I've like separated these two. So close to perfection. If I put a stage in there, that means it has peak potential. It has peak potential. But there's like one or two big glaring flaws with the stage that make it not peak. That like makes certain sections not fun to play through. But if those issues weren't present, those stages would go in the peak category. Which we'll get to stages like that. And Amazing Level is, it's not quite at peak, but it's still like, it's consistent in quality the entire way through. Yes, I did the thing. Oh, yeah, the only thing. Hi, Carmine. Hi. Welcome in. Yeah, the only thing. Last time when I ended stream, the only remaining thing I had to do was getting A rank on all stages with Metal Sonic. Also, you missed me. I'm just going to flex on you. 2 out of 3 times in Ice Cap. Yeah. 2 out of 3 times in Ice Cap playing as Metal Sonic, I hit the Mission 53 jump. I'm like almost fully consistent with it now. But yeah, now I'm just tier listing all the adventure stages and then signing off. You have info on that? Info on what on the Mission 53 jump? But yeah, this is what I got so far. The version is extremely dependent on how easy the jump is. Oh, I see. I will look into that to see if I'm actually go to... I am inclined to say that it's hard on DX. Because I do remember when I last tried to 100% this stage like many years ago, I do remember giving up on Mission 53. Carmine, I'm playing on the Steam version. Carmine, yes, I know. The DX, it's not the Steam version is a bit redundant because DX was originally the GameCube port. DX is originally the GameCube port, and they ported that over to Steam, and it's mostly the same, but there are some very minor differences. Mine looks different because I have a mod on. I have an adventure mod on. It's still Sonic Adventure DX, but it restores the Dreamcast physics. So I'm playing Sonic Adventure DX just with the Dreamcast, not physics, graphics. I'm playing DX physics, DX level design, DX gameplay, just with the original Dreamcast graphics. Like my original stream title was getting the final Steam achievement. Like I was playing for Steam achievements, that's why I played with Metal Sonic. Also, I wouldn't say, because Mission 53 is a fucking bitch, I wouldn't say it's an L on your part, it's just a W on my part. Okay, so yeah, just a quick rundown on the stages. Peak is peak. Amazing level is not quite at peak, but consistently amazing all the way throughout. So close to perfection is a tier reserved for levels that would be peak if it wasn't for one or two big glaring flaws or issues they have. Poggers is very fun, like fun level to play through, fun level to replay. They may have one or two issues, maybe not, but they are not quite at the amazing level category. But they are still stages I like strongly like usually. They are just not, like I wouldn't call Gamma Windy Valley Emerald Coast level. Works well is a tier 4. The stage is nothing outstanding, but it does what it has to do well. And it's also still fun to replay, like it has replayability. It's alright, these are the whatever stages. I might just straight up delete this tier actually, because I might not end up using it. These are bad stages. These are bad stages or stages that would be good but have something with them that make them overall not fun. And stinky category is... This is reserved for the absolute worst stages in the game for one reason or the other. And then Mayo is Mayo. It's just Big the Cat. Hi Rada. Actually, I am extremely right. My opinions are always correct. Today will be a short stream. I'm halfway through my shift. Okay, hear me out. You know how I get with tier listing. You should have seen this coming, okay? I should have seen this coming, honestly. I don't know why I thought this would be a short stream. Also, hi Rada, welcome in. But yeah, I was at Gamma stages. This is the first Pogger stage. Also, this is ordered. Like, right to left is worst to best. Other than, like, I can't order, like, Sonic Twinkle Park and Sonic Red Mountain are top 2. I can decide which is first and which is second, but all the rest are ordered. But yeah, this is just, like, no issues with its solid stage all around. Also, it's so fucking satisfying having over 6 minutes on the clock. But Gamma stages only get better. Red Mountain, amazing level. Not quite at peak, but like not quite at best of the best. I should rename peak to best of the best because I do refer to like Emerald Coast, Gamma Red Mountain as peak. But peak is just so much more dramatic. It's just much more of a fun top tier name than best of the best. But you should think about this as best of the best, and this I could still refer to as peak gameplay. Gamma Red Mountain, one of the shortest stages in the game, one of the simplest stages in the game, but you can bless some shit. The vibes are still great. And I don't really have a long explanation for this one. I just really enjoy replaying this stage over and over. It doesn't feel as slow or clunky as Windy Valley sometimes. Red Mountain is straight up Windy Valley if it was a bit better and had cooler vibes. For Gamma. Do I put it above Sonic Emerald Coast or no? No, Sonic Emerald Coast is too much of a classic to not be at the top. And then we have Gamma Hot Shelter. Another amazing level. Yeah, Emerald Coast is the OG classic. I do find Knuckles Red Mountain like almost as iconic as Sonic Emerald Coast though. But I would put Red Mountain here even if it wasn't as iconic. Now, I talked a lot about how much Amy Final Egg is like an awful final stage. It should not be a stage at all, and if it is, it should be like maybe the first stage of Amy. But then, Gamma's Hot Shelter is the complete opposite. It's, once again, very fun to bless. You can bless some shit in this stage as well. Like, they realized what's the fun part about Gamma, and they capitalized on it, and they did great with that. And there are parts that are a bit of a slog to play through, which is why I'm putting it above or like below Red Mountain. But it's still no notes amazing level. So we're done. Let's finish Amy. Amy also only has a few levels. Okay, so I mentioned this. There's Amy Final Egg, which has 0 gameplay. And then there's Hot Shelter, which should be the final stage for Amy. Like, this would be a perfect final stage for Amy. And the vibes are immaculate. The gameplay... Amy gameplay, it feel like, in general, like, regardless of level design, Amy gameplay needs something. Like, it's a bit bland, it needs like something more, because 0, the robot chasing you, is a bit wonky. And I just wish it had a little bit more movement. But despite that, Hot Shelter is absolute peak. And it's so close to being perfect. Just as a reminder, this means that the overall, like, the good parts of this stage are generally more fun and even better than anything in the amazing level. But there's a big flaw holding it back. And in Amy Hot Shelter's case, there's one major and one minor issue with the stage that prevents it from being peak. The minor issue is like the part where you have to take like the colored boxes and put them into their separate slots, because they could have made it into a puzzle and they could have made it work well, but it's just a 30-second time waster both times. Like, there's no substance to it. It's literally just a time waster. And the major issue with Amy's Hot Shelter is, as I alluded to, Amy's gameplay lacking just a bit something. Like, the issue is it being an Amy stage, but the general level design is actually perfect. Like, this, if Amy's stages were better, this would be like up here, maybe like even above Casinopolis for Knuckles. I just wish Amy played a bit better. And then Amy Twinkle Park, it's poggers. Like, it's not an extremely outstanding stage, but it's still a great stage, and the Mirror Maze is fun. Once again, Amy gameplay is a bit boring, it's a bit lacking, and they could have done a bit more. Actually, I'm going to move this from poggers to Workswell. Between Emerald Coast and... yeah, I would rather replay Emerald Coast than Amy Twinkle Park. It works well for what it does. It just doesn't have a lot to work with, and I do feel like they could have done a little... Still, the Mirror Maze section is very cool, it's extremely cool, but they could have done just a bit more with it. Okay, we're down to less 10 stages. I haven't talked a lot about Tails yet, because I just talked about his stinkers. Tails has potential in Sonic Adventure, but overall, I don't think Tails is that full of a character to play with. I do think Windy Valley is a pogger stage. I would rather play... Gamma and Tails Windy Valley are around the same level. I will put Gamma Windy Valley slightly above. I do think actually I'm gonna put Tails Windy Valley above, because it's funny how you can skip the entire stage by flying it. That is very funny and hilarious. And it's also the introductory stage for Tails. And it's a very good introductory stage for him. So yeah, it does deserve poggers, and it can go above Windy Valley Gamma. Then we have Skydeck. This one's hard to place. Tails Skydeck. It feels so nice if you play Sonic Skydeck first, and then you play Tails Skydeck. It feels so cool to be able to fly over the entire thing. But it just doesn't really have, once again, it doesn't really have a lot of gameplay. So I don't think I can put it any higher than Poggers. Would I put it above Windy Valley? Would I place Tails Sky Deck over... It's kind of... Tails is kind of a nothing burger in this game, sadly. As much as I hate to admit it. Like, Tails gameplay in general is a bit lackluster. Which I do think, in Tails' case, like in Amy's case, for example with Hot Shelter and Twanax and Twinkle Park, it has great level design. But it's like... It's just held back by Amy's general gameplay. I think in Tails' case, like the idea of, like the concept behind the races and just like being able to fly around is fun. And it is hard to balance a stage well around Tails. But I do think level design is what holds Tails back. Now that I say that out loud, I should put this higher just because this level design is better. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep them like this. I would rather play Skydeck than Windy Valley just because if you play Windy Valley enough, it becomes a bit boring faster than Skydeck. And then there's Speed Highway. Tails Speed Highway is a very cool finale stage for Tails. Because for one, instead of doing a fan race with Sonic, suddenly you race with Eggman to like save the entire city. And it's fun because with Sonic, it feels like whenever you're racing Sonic, it feels like you're cheating. It feels like you're cheating. You're like flying over obstacles that Sonic can't. Like Sonic has to overcome. But then suddenly you're racing Eggman. And suddenly it feels like he's taking paths that you cannot. It feels like Eggman's the one who's cheating, and it's like conceptually. And like, not just conceptual, the way they pulled off the vibes and the concept and the atmosphere of the stage. I do think that's phenomenal. However, a lot of the stage is just fly into green rings again. So once again, it's held back by level design. But the concept is cool enough and the vibes are good enough that I am going to put it on the top of Poggers. I am going to put it above Gamma Windy Valley. I wouldn't, like, I'm considering if I would say it's an amazing level, but then I look at what else is an amazing level and I'm like, no, it's not fucking on that level. Okay, then let's talk about the other two speed highways. You have Sonic Speed Highway and you have Knuckles' Speed Highway. Knuckles is simpler. Knuckles, it's like the first stage for Knuckles. It's vibes-wise, like Speed Highway, having the city stage be Knuckles' first stage is like kind of... It feels like it doesn't fit Knuckles' character, even it fits the story. It's weird, but that's like not something that makes me not like the stage. It's just like a little detail. It's great. It's great as an introductory stage. It's not outstanding at all, but it does have Knuckles stages, like I was talking about it earlier. Knuckles stages' main selling point is exploration. This stage does exploration well, even if not as well as all the other stages. It's either... I think it works well, yeah. I'm gonna put this Amy... No, Tails Windy Valley is actually not Poggers. Tails Windy Valley actually works well. I think. Like here. So it works well, but it does what it has to do perfectly. It's a great introduction to the Emerald hunting stages. It's also not too easy. And then Sonic Speed Highway, amazing level. Sonic Speed Highway is a phenomenal level. Not peak, like it's not, without a question, not as good as these two. But it's great. Is it better than Emerald Coast though? No, it's not better than Emerald Coast. Sometimes it can be a bit janky in the unfun way in the first section. So it's not as good as Emerald Coast. It is a very replayable stage. It is a very fun to replay stage. Which is what Sonic stages should be. What if? What's up, Star? What if what? It's like on the level. It's like use your time travel powers for I can sleep. I'm sorry, Star, I will not do dailies again. I will not do dailies again, Star. Actually, I forgot to do Smash Duel. I forgot to do Smash Duel during my dailies. Sonic! Imagine if that was it though. Okay, the mail from Brawl. Wait, but was it Lucas yesterday? What if... I think Lucas was yesterday is what I... No. This one pissed me off. We may not have the same one. Snake. Oh, augment. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that's right. Heavier than Snake. Wario. There we go. Okay, that was fine. That wasn't a bad one. Who did Kirby swallow? Oh, this is one of the fucking Fire Emblem characters. It's Chrome, yeah. There we go. Emoji, please be a mouse. Oh my fuck. Pikachu. No, Pichu. Yippee! What the fuck is this? This feels so assist trophy peeled. This is a... Like, this feels like an assist trophy. This is a fucking Digimon. Ooh, I got Dr. Mario first try yesterday. That was an easy one. Who the fuck? What is... Is that like a tail back there? What if it's a tail? But it's... Wait. Okay, but if it's Charizard tail, it would have like the flame at the end. I was thinking it like the clusterfuck, so it could be Pokemon Trainer, but no. Because that would have the flame at the end. What the fuck? It's not Banjo-Kazooie. Is it? It's not... No, Banjo doesn't have a tail like that. Who else has a tail? That's... Ridley's tail is not like that. I don't... This is not a Spacey. This is not Bowser. Is it? This isn't Bowser, but I want... Actually, it barely zooms out. Yeah, what the fuck is this? I know I'm going to give up on this. I can already feel that. I'm so going to give up on this. Fucking... I don't know. More Peko with a tail. This is a Digimon. It's not Pokemon Trainer, but I'm gonna... Yeah, no. Who has a tail? Donkey Kong doesn't have a tail. Diddy Kong doesn't have this kind of a tail. Is it Banjo? They don't... Oh, look at the image. That's not them. What is this? It's still barely zoomed out. I so want to just open up the fucking character roster. I want to just open up the character roster and look at the list. Like, who looks like that? Mario characters, not Yoshi, not Mario. It's not a Mario character. Pokemon. This is not Mewtwo. And none of the other ones have like a tail. I mean, okay, no, Pikachu and Pichu too, but that's like... That's a spherical tail, not like a rigid one. What the fuck? Not a Kirby character, not a Donkey Kong character, not a Zelda character. Not this is going to be like a one-off character. My fucking god. I'm just going to input random characters until it's zoomed out enough where I can get it. I'm not going. You're massive, what the fuck? You're not Ridley. What is this? What? Oh, okay, now I'm just more confused. Don't tell me. No. That's... Oh my... I'm upset. I'm fucking upset. Fuck off. We're going back to tier listing. No. I'm so upset over that Carmine. That's so bad. That's so bad. Okay. Back to Sonic Speed Highway. Yeah, I wouldn't replay it as much as Emerald Coast. Honestly, it's not as good as the best Gamma stage, but it's... Yeah, I think it's in a good spot there. I think it's in a good spot here. Like, it's still peak gameplay. It's still peak Sonic Adventure gameplay. Okay, we also have... Okay, I talked mad shit about Lost World. This is the stage I'm the most upset about besides Amy Final Egg. Because this should be a good stage, but isn't. However, Knuckles' Lost World is amazing. It's the easiest, it's the smallest one, it's the easiest one. Like, it could have a bit more. I'm not going to put it to so... I'm going to put it in so close to perfection. Like, if... This stage needs just a bit more, it's just a bit too small, it's just a bit too contained. It just needs to be a bit bigger, have a bit more content. It would be peak in that case. Like, it would be peak if it had just a bit more content. But the way it is, it stays in so close to perfection. But I would put it like here. Otherwise. Like, I do think it's an amazing level, and normally, like, based on the criteria I set for all the tiers, I would put it right here. But this is so close to being in the peak category that I have to give it to this. Like, that's the difference. I would put this stage here. No, yeah, this would also go into peak if it was like Amy was better, so yeah. This is so close. Like, if it had more, it could potentially be the best Knuckles stage, but as it stands, it's a perfect middle of the pack with Knuckles stages. Speaking of... Love the idea, love the vibes. Great song that's specific for Knuckles, and it doesn't... Oh wait, no, it does play for Sonic as well. I'm stupid, but like... Could be a good final stage for Knuckles. But, like, the gimmick of like having to tilt the ship to like access different nooks and crannies is fun. Very fun, great idea. Great in theory. But it sucks in execution. Because of, like, it makes sense that it changes the gravity a bit. But I think it changes it a bit too much, and it makes movement just not fun in Skydeck for Knuckles. It's like, it is a bit of a stinker stage. I just wish it fucked up movement less, tilting the ship. Because the worst part is, you have to get back up to the switch every time if you want to change tilting the ship, but it's annoying getting back to the switch every time if the ship is already tilted and it fucks up your movement. But if it would, like, if the main gimmick of the stage wasn't inherently flawed, this would go up into like high tier as well. I do think Knuckles stages in general are more consistent. Knuckles is the most consistently fun character to play as in this game. Like he's more consistent. I do prefer, like, Sonic has better highs than Knuckles, but Knuckles is more consistently fun than Sonic. As you can see by the worst stage being Womp Womp, and just from one gimmick, instead of the stinky stages being stinky all the way throughout for Sonic. And now we have the 3 remaining Sonic stages. Sonic Windy Valley. I don't know, it goes in poggers, it doesn't reach amazing level category. My view on Windy Valley, my view on Sonic Windy Valley is that there are 3 sections, like pre-tornado, tornado, and post-tornado. Pre-tornado has the best vibes and has the best gameplay. It has the least spectacle, but it has the best vibes and the best gameplay. And then there's, like, as the stage progresses, it gives you less and less gameplay, and it gives you more and more spectacle. Like, the tornado section has less gameplay and more spectacle, but it still has some gameplay, but less gameplay and more spectacle than the first section. And then the last section has barely any gameplay, it's mostly just hold forward, except for like a bit in the middle, but it has barely any gameplay, but it has a lot of spectacle. It's made to look pretty. It's made to just for you to go fast without thinking and feel cool while going fast, going up in the air at high altitudes. And here's the thing, even though there's not really any gameplay in the last section, it still pulls up what it runs well. And the parts where there are gameplay, they are fun. I used to not be a big fan of the tornado section, but even that, it's fine. It disrupts your flow a bit, but it's like short enough where it's not really an issue, and it doesn't disrupt your flows too much. So it is poggers. It is... It's like here. I do like Gamma Windy Valley a bit better than Sonic Windy Valley. I do like... It's hard to move this. I feel like I wanna put this higher, but also I don't think I could put it higher than any of the other stages here. You know what, I'm gonna move up Knuckles to poggers. And I'm gonna put Knuckles Speed Highway like this. Yeah, I think this is fine. But like, keep in mind, it looks like this is like the middle of the tier list, but like these stages are still all good. Even these stages are still all good. Like only the 3 bottom tiers are like not good. This also made me realize that I don't have any stage in Sonic Adventure that I have like a neutral opinion on. I either like the stage or dislike the stage, but I don't have like any in between. And then the last 2 stages, Skydeck. Skydeck, amazing level. I fucking love Sonic Skydeck. It is one of the jankiest stages in the entire game, but I'm such a huge... I'm a sucker for this stage. I do like it more than Gamma Hot Shelter. It is also one of the coolest stages in the game, in my opinion. Like, it pulls off a lot of its spectacle really well. It can be sometimes janky, and there are some slow parts. I don't like the middle section. I don't really like the second section. But the first section is really fun in general. And the third and last section is very fun to speedrun casually. And the second section is still fine. Like, it's not bad, it's just not really good. But I do still love the gimmick behind it of like the ship constantly speeding up, and you don't even have to hold on to something. That's the best part, because having to hold on to something is the annoying part, but you don't have to do that. It's just the simple way to do that part. The one annoying part is having to shoot the rocket into the cannon. That the camera there sucks, and it's also annoying to get there on time. So that one part is annoying. It could be peak, but it's not in like the so close to perfection level, so I'm just going to keep it. Do I like Skydeck more than Speed Highway? It's like in the same situation as Twinkle Park and Red Mountain are, where Red Mountain has a slight edge over Twinkle Park in gameplay, but Twinkle Park has a clear edge over Red Mountain in vibes. Like, and don't get me wrong, both of their vibes are amazing. And it's the same, like, Speed Highway has a very slight edge over Speed Highway in gameplay. But Sky Deck, like, clears based on vibes. I don't know how to order these two. Which one would I replay more? That's the question. Is the thing, this question didn't have with Twinkle Park and Red Mountain. Because I was like, I would replay this one 5 times out of 10 and this one 5 times out of 10. But what about... Which one would I replay more? Both separately and consecutively? Also, I do agree with you, Carmine. Like, if the ship moved on a cycle for Knuckles Sky Deck, my main issue isn't you having to change the switch manually though. My main issue is it affecting the gravity too much. Like, it fucks with your movement too much on Knuckles Sky Deck. If it fucked with your movement less, I wouldn't even mind having to climb back to the switch every time. That part is just tedious because of the... Like, they should either make it go on a cycle, but I think a better change would be keeping the changes manual and just having it fuck with your movement. It should still change your movement a little bit, but just a little bit, not so strongly. But yeah, if I had... Okay. That's so tough. Okay, Skydeck is cooler, but I do think I would play Speed Highway slightly more. So I think I'm going to keep this like that, but this is like Speed Highway and Skydeck with Sonic is practically a tie. Like, neither is really above the other, just like with Twinkle Park and Red Mountain. And then we have Sonic's final egg now. I originally, like, when I first made the So Close to Perfection tier, this is the stage I was thinking of. Sonic Final Egg is the stage I was thinking of. This stage would be so fucking peak. Like, it's great for a final stage. The aesthetics are awesome. They pull off exactly what they wanted to pull off, which is infiltrating Eggman's base. Amazing. Like, start off nice. The way it starts off is nice. The end bit is amazing. However, there is the middle bit where you have to climb up and then slowly go down deeper into the base. Conceptually, amazing. Vibes, immaculate. Gameplay, fucking sucks. It's also a prime instance of Sonic Adventure's checkpoint placements being bad. It's annoying because it involves waiting, and waiting is lame and cringe and boring and bad. It has too many. Like, if you don't wait, there's a lot of... when you don't have to wait, there's like multiple long tunnels that are just like cool first time, boring every other time. And the most annoying thing is, like, when you go fast first, when you enter the section first and you go fast, it's like sort of in a nice cycle where the spot where you would have to wait a lot, you only have to wait a little bit. But if you die and go back to the checkpoint, then it puts you on like the platform cycles are made in a way where I genuinely think they couldn't have made it any more slower. And it's just so fucking slow and disrupts your momentum and fucks up the flow state you're in when playing the stage entirely. So the middle section of this stage is like one huge giant glaring flaw that this stage has. If they fix that section, or honestly, if they just straight up took out the entire middle section and then just kept the rest of the stage the same, this would like go up here. Like here. Honestly, maybe like this stage has the potential to be the best stage in the game. Also the fans are a bit annoying, but they are fine. This has the potential to be the best stage in the game. But there's just one part of it that's just horrible and holds it back. And for that it remains so close to perfection. And that's it. This is my ranking of Sonic stages. That's like Sonic Adventure stages, all of them. I don't know why only Sand Hill and only Sand Hill is part of the this tier list. I'm just going to ignore it. My favorite part of Sonic Egg is the tube in the middle. That's funny, but that's the tube that's fun the first time, but just boring every other time. No, I do like that. That's so funny. I do like that bit. And I like laugh at like just in my left eye in my head a bit every time I go there. Like actually, and honestly, I respect it. Like the tube still works. You don't go on the flat ground the entire time, but it still works. And instead of trying to fix something that's not really broken, they just put things there. Like I do think that's a hilarious detail. Like I'm glad that they are there. Because they could have just not put rings in that specific spot, but they did, which just adds a lot of charm to it. But yeah, this is my list. If I had to rate characters themselves, Sonic and Knuckles would go in peak. I don't know which one I put higher. I might actually put Knuckles higher than Sonic. I'm not sure. Then Gamma would go in A tier. Tails and Amy would go in C tier and Namek would go in F tier. That's my character rankings. No, there was another tier list that had like all the sub-games in them. I intentionally chose the one. I'm just ranking the main stages. I'm ignoring sub-games. Okay, Carmine, you weren't here then when I talked about Ice Cap. But there is an Ice Cap sub-game as well. There's an Ice Cap sub-game that's just the snowboarding part. Both for Tails and Sonic, even though Tails already has the snowboarding part. But there's the Ice Cap sub-game that adds gates and adds an incentive to try and get a high score. And if the regular Ice Cap snowboarding section had gates, like if there wasn't a separate sub-game for it, but there were gates in the regular Ice Cap stage, then Tails' Ice Cap would go like up here. Up here. Up here. Up here. Tails' Ice Cap would go up here. And Sonic's Ice Cap would go up at least to Womp Womp, if not Poggers. Yeah, I think the middle section still keeps it Womp Womp. But it might go up to Poggers if it had gates, but it doesn't have gates. So it just stays like that. You know what? No, I'm so mad at Amy Final, like I'm going to put it below this. The two Casinopolises. But yeah, here it is. Here's all of the Sonic Adventure stages ordered. And except these two, like these two, the top two are not ordered, and Speed Highway and Skydeck are not ordered. Oh my god, Edgel. I'm about to say goodbye. I'm about to rate someone. Why are we getting Edgel now? I should have... Oh my god, and now people stuck in Edgel are missing out on this banger. But yeah, this is all that I'm going to post this actually. You can see me live post. I'm going to take a screenshot because... No, I can download this image actually. Yeah. Here we have my image 10. You can see me live post this. There we go. And downloads. Post. Yippee! Alright. So now we can... Actually, do I have any like final comments I want to add? No, I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. Oh, I do want to say like... No, I can just DM Carmine about that after I just like my comment on big stages. But yeah, this has been it. We're going to go to the funny end screen now. And let's find somebody to raid. Love me some big duck. Oh wait, you're back? Is that at time over? Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna show this to you real quick then. Hold on. So the only reason I put Big in his own separate tier is because I'm taking not only playing through the stage once into the consideration, but also level B and level A. So like I'm taking catching all the 2 kg fish into consideration, which is why all of the big stages are like the worst thing in the game. If I was thinking about just the stage and just catching Froggy and nothing else, here's where I would put them. I would put Twinkle Park into Womp Womp, below Knuckles Sky Deck. I would put... This works... I have some issues with this stage, but otherwise this is a fun stage, it works well. So I would put this in the very bottom of works well. And honestly, I would put Emerald, Big Emerald Coast into Poggers. Like between Sonic, Windy Valley and Tail Sky Deck. And then I would put... This would not make it up to amazing level, I'm gonna be real. If I didn't have to catch the... If I didn't have to... This would either be like the very top of Poggers or like the very bottom of amazing level. I'm gonna... You know what, I'm going to save this as well. I'm going to pause this as well. You can see me. Like, I do like the big stages, I just have issues with having to catch heavy fish. Because then it just goes to shit. Because actually exploring the big stages is kind of fun. Actually, no. No, I realized I would not play I realized what I did. No, these would go right next to each other. I would put, like, I would still put it above, like, Sonic Windy Valley. But this is where I would put them. I'm going to just do a reply to... There we go. Fun if... Like, I still wouldn't mind big gameplay, because catching just Froggy is fine. Catching Froggy is not that hard. Catching big fish is hard, and catching big fish is what's completely bad game design. Like, where the bad design of the fishing minigame shows. There we go. Okay, now we're going to the end screen.